I would like to start this video by formally apologizing to, that guy for, basically saying that, I felt really good about his dog being sprayed by a skunk. I thought very adamantly that he was talking about a player that was nicknamed Iggy, and then I remembered, oh wait! He has a dog named Iggy. So, my bad!
It ain't easy being a Coyotes fan. But it sure isn't easy being a Coyotes fan in the middle of Alberta. To the north of me are the Edmonton Oilers, and to the south of me are the Calgary Flames. And here I am, smack dab in the middle. So join me as I talk about the 23-24 Arizona Coyotes on Season 1 of the Albertan Coyotes Fan. So stay howling and go Yotes!
11 straight losses. Yotes lose to the Leafs 6-3, which seems to be the favorite score of late because so many games that I've counted have ended 6-3. I can't really be surprised, but at the same time, 11 straight. So I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to tear into my team because I should tear into my team first before I tear into the other team, because otherwise all the people coming from maybe Steve's video, which I was going to do a whole bit about, oh, I'm stealing his bit. I've even got my own hat guy or whatever. That's not the point of this video anymore. It was going to be fun. It was going to be great. It was going to be like, even if they lost, it was going to be a whole thing about, I'm copying Steve, which I've kind of acknowledged before. And, if the loss was okay, like if it was a loss where it's like, hey, we fought hard and it wasn't full of BS, then, I'd have some fun with this. No, not this time. So I'm going to tear into the Yotes, then I'm going to tear into the Leafs, then I'm going to tear into some other things, and we're going to have a grand old time. But first, a real quick thing to point out, StatMuse went out and they have a bit of a history on this team. The Yotes are 3-6-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the last 10 games that we played against them. The reason I chose 10 games is because previous to this game, that's how many we've lost straight. Going in the first period, there's a tip in, it goes into the net within the first 5 minutes of the game. Which, this is the Coyotes, this is just what we do. It's who we are. It sucks. Then Coyotes go down for a penalty, because that's another thing that we're bad for, is we get penalties all the freaking time. Guess what? Leafs capitalize. They score. It's almost like taking penalties is a bad thing, but in the first period, the Coyotes took 5. One of them being something that we are really bad for. Too many men on the ice. Good news on that second goal, though, by the way. Tourney challenge goes through because it was an offside play. That doesn't matter because, 10 seconds later in the game, Matthews scores his 50th of the season. Don't you know? So he just made history while we're sitting here sitting ducks. It's Anaheim's team. But we're sitting ducks watching as the other team obliterates us in the first period. There's a duo of penalties, basically one right after the other. One penalty is called. He goes to the box. 2 seconds is played of the game before Dumba goes and high sticks another player on the Leafs and gets a 4-minute major, or 4-minute minor, double minor. Double minor is the term here. One more goal scored for the Leafs, and then we head into the second period. Where in the second period, Coyotes actually kind of woke up a bit, which is a good thing. Leafs take a penalty. There's a pass that goes to no one, which I'm not thrilled about. Just another point to prove that this team's kind of falling apart. They're not playing with heart. I don't know what to tell you. They don't look like a proper team out on the ice. However, Michelli will score just as the penalty for the Leafs expires. Soon after, Kerfoot shoots it at the net. Hayton's there to tip it. It goes into the back of the net. We go up. We don't go up, but we go up another goal. It's 2-3. Toronto scores another goal, putting them up 4-2. And then the Yotes score. Keller sends it to Genther, who takes a slap shot and goes into the back of the net. That's a good thing for the Yotes. But that's the last goal that they score. which is not good. Going to the third period, and there's 2 more goals in this game. They're both for the Leafs, and we got Nylander and we got Tavares. Oh, should I mention that earlier in this game, one of those Toronto goals, I don't think I mentioned the player who scored it. Matthews had 2. He didn't just get 50, he got 51. He got 51 goals on the season, 2 from this stupid game. Imagine if he got a third. I would have been ripped off. I'm already ripped off. I'm mad. But I would have been mad. That's the game from the Coyotes' perspective. We sucked. Penalties were abundant, and we just, I don't know who we're passing to half the time. It looks like a brand new team. Like a brand new team that just came out of like some portal and is just pretending that they know hockey. They replaced the rest of the players, and they're just out there doing their own thing. Going to the Leafs side of things. I made a TikTok a little while ago explaining why the rest of the league tends to hate Toronto just a little bit in regards to the Ridley Gregg situation that got Morgan Riley suspended for 5 games. And what I said was what Morgan Riley did, as much as he was trying to stick up for his team and stick up for the fact that you shouldn't do that because it's unsportsmanlike, he went a bit too far. And everyone's whining in Toronto about how, well, that's a bit too strict. Oh, well, it's bias against the Leafs. Oh, well, what have you. And just for the record, yeah, Ridley Gregg did something stupid. He made a slap shot at the net. Rest of the league liked it because the rest of the league hates Toronto. I'm from Alberta, so on top of being a YOTES fan and already hating Toronto for that fact, I've got the Alberta-Ontario rivalry going. Like, it's in my veins. So when I found out that this happened, I thought it was hilarious. But Morgan Riley is responsible for what he does. When he skates up to Ridley Gregg, he's got 2 options. Maybe if you a bit of a shove, I have 3 options. 1, leave him alone. 2, give him a bit of a shove, just let him know you can't do that. Or 3, what he did, something that's illegal in the game of hockey. You are no longer hockeying when you body check, cross check someone in the face. And then everyone's whining like what happened to Morgan Riley was unfair. It's not unfair. He determined what he did with the stick. He decided what he was going to do. Same thing applies in this game. Everyone's getting after Jersey because Jersey's doing Jersey things and, quite frankly, hockey things in finishing his checks even after the whistle just a bit. And they were small things like maybe a bit of a nudge or just letting his rear end kind of nudge Nylander a bit. And it would start these skirmishes where Toronto would elevate things to a needless point. And you go on X, formerly Twitter, and it's just post after post after post of, Jersey is such a dirty player. He talks so much, but he won't drop the gloves. It's like things you can't do in hockey. Can't high stick, can't trip,
PK.
Can't cross check, can't board, can't hold, can't play hockey. If you're Jersey, you can't play hockey. You finish your stuff. Quite frankly, you agitate the other team. You get in their head. Guess what? We got in their head. It didn't work, but we got in their head, and everyone's whining about it. Sheldon Keefe on the bench, whining about one of the penalties, that actually the one where Michelli ended up scoring the first goal for the Coyotes. Keefe is on the bench, and he's livid. And apparently what he mouthed to the ref was, "This one's on you." Ref it was a questionable call, honestly. Toronto's up 3-0. We scored 1 goal. And you're gonna moan about that? I almost said a bad word there. Grow up. This is the NHL. This isn't Pee-wee anymore. Grow up. The refs are gonna suck. We all know it. We all know it. And the fact that a goal was scored has nothing to do with the ref. It has everything to do with your... And by the way, you're up by 2 at this point. So shut up and grow up. Finally, I just want to say, Coyotes fans, where are you? This was the arena. For the most part, I could only get this much of the arena in this one. But think just the entire arena looks like this. How are the Coyotes supposed to play in that? How are they supposed to play in that knowing that this is their home barn and it's a sea of blue? There is very little red or orange or black in this arena because it's just been taken over by Toronto fans. And, you know, I understand, like, you got the snowbirds, you got people who got the money to shell out so that they can go and see their team. You got the fact that Matthews is having a historic run this year. But, you know, for all the people that complain about the whole arena situation, I'm one of them, but I'm in Alberta. I kind of have I have an excuse. I kind of can't go to their games unless I want to pay for a ticket that goes into Edmonton's or Calgary's revenue, which I would. But to see the arena basically always being an away game, no matter what the Coyotes do, I'm not surprised we lost. We're playing without a home ice advantage where we should be having a home ice advantage. And that gets into your head. I will say that these players are making millions of dollars. They should probably find a way to get over it, but it's a mental thing. You don't just get over it. That's why we have therapists. That's why we have psychiatrists, because you can't just get over things. And in the same right, when it comes to a mental game, like a game where if you get into the opponent's head, you've got clear runnings to do whatever you want to them. I think I mentioned this before. Brad Marchand, he does it like smoothly. He just goes and he's a pest to everyone. You want to know how you bypass needing someone like Brad Marchand when you play against a team? Drag your fans along. And by drag your fans along, I mean have a loyal fan base that'll travel to the games where you're on the road, i.e. in this case, Arizona. If the Coyotes pulled something like a Buffalo, where you had to prove that you lived in Arizona, I could see somewhat of an improvement there, but you also don't want to be playing in an empty barn. So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. The last game, it was Edmonton. I would be inclined to say maybe that game, yeah, I can understand it being a majority of Oilers fans. I didn't do a video on that because I was livid. 10 straight. But with that one being a matinee game, I can understand it. People have to work. People who have the money to go from Alberta to Arizona are probably on vacation. They don't have to work. This was not a matinee game. This game started at 8 p.m. local time. This was a game where people could have showed up. I would love to have gone. I would love to support the team that I cheer for. But again, I'm in Alberta. Like, you know, it's easy for that man to I'm pointing at the Steve Dangle book. I don't know if you can tell. But it's easy for him to talk about this kind of stuff if this were to happen in his barn because he lives right there. He can do what he speaks about. I can't. I wish I could. But I think the drive being there, the drive to keep a team in a place where I don't have access to freely, it's got to account for something, doesn't it? It's got to account for something that Arizona isn't taking into account. If someone from miles away, like over 1,000 miles away, cares about keeping a team there more than the people who are there, that's annoying. And that's it's frustrating. As someone who really has no control over it. And I've got to sit by idly and watch. And it pisses me off. So, that's this video. That's this video done. Because I feel like I'm not going to have a voice by the morning. So, in the meantime, stay howling. Go Yotes. Try not to go 12 straight for the love of God. Thank you so much for watching. For the Leafs fans who came in here and, you know, maybe came after Steve's video. You saw Steve's, you're like, oh, this guy's a Coyotes fan. I wonder how much he's going to yell. Hi, I yell a lot. Kind of. Not really. Honestly, I could do some more yelling. I should do some more yelling. Anyway, if you didn't like it, you know what to hit. You got this. If you did like it, you know, you owned us fair and square. I didn't like it, but it was a good game. You can hit the like button. You can hit the subscribe button. You can help get me in contact with Steve. I would not mind that at all. And yeah, I'll be back. I will be back in 4 days because we have a 3-day break, which they better use wisely.